These do look fancy.
Right?
Hello? Hello?
Nope.
I can hear you.
I can't hear you at all, Kelly.
We should be
Hello?
live.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I got you.
You got it?
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah.
We all good?
Sneak up on this microphone.
Pressed up, down.
I won't ask.
All right. Thank you for joining us, everybody. You're listening to episode 34 of ACAB Radio. We're your hosts, Jay Lyfer, Kelly Special K Patterson, and King Ron. And we got a very special guest for you guys today. If you tuned in last week, you know that we covered this article here by Whitney Webb from MintPress News, exposing NewsGuard, the latest tool used by the neocons and really the powers that be for censorship to attack independent media.
When we
So
say
today,
tool, we mean it.
yes,
Yep.
today we'll be covering this article here, Who is NewsGuard by Mnar Muhawesh. And she's here with us today. Hello, Mnar.
Hello, Joey. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I know you're very busy, especially today. I saw you were working on a documentary earlier and you got Project Censored. If you guys don't know what Project Censored is, definitely look it up. She's going to be on Project Censored as well today. So very busy day. Thank you for making time for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been one of those days. And on top of everything, it's negative 25 degrees outside, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, I can only imagine. All right, so we got your article pulled up here. Neocons test drive newest weapon to crush indie media, put MintPress News in their crosshairs. So you guys had a very in-depth article written by Whitney Webb that broke down really who's behind NewsGuard. But I wanted to have you on the show to talk about your experiences with censorship and your experiences with NewsGuard, because they reached out to you, right?
Absolutely. I was reached out by one of their reporters with 8 loaded questions, basically ready to frame us and put us on the defensive and frame us in a way that made us appear like we were on the political fringe and we were a fake news website. And for those who saw some of the coverage, I initially made my comments and my responses to the NewsGuard reporter public in my article. Mm-hmm. And some of these questions were really, they were really loaded. Some of them were asking about our ownership, our funding, and then, why our pictures were not credited to their source. Everything that we were asked, the questions were framed in a way to basically discredit us, when actually if the reporter or anybody at NewsGuard took a second to go on our website, they would see that all 25,000 photos on our website are actually credited to the Associated Press. We have an agreement with the Associated Press, and we use all AP photos, and they're all credited to the Associated Press. In terms of our funding and ownership and stuff like that, all of that is clearly made on each, not even our About Us page, but on every article post, every page on our website makes it absolutely clear that we are an independent journalism organization. I'm the founder, I'm the CEO of MintPress. And then one of the questions, which I thought was really, really interesting, is that the reporter for NewsGuard pulled up was this smear attack against me by BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed, speaking of neocon, tools, BuzzFeed is a neoliberal tool that pushes pro-war propaganda. And I was targeted by BuzzFeed for our reporting on Syria, for challenging the narrative on the war in Syria. And so NewsGuard took this article where BuzzFeed tried to discredit MintPress by profiling me, like a Muslim hijabi young woman, and tried to make it appear that I was like not smart. I was, ruled by men, and I was, a misogynist and all of these things, and that I was, funded by possibly Iran or Syria or, by Assad himself, who's writing me paychecks,
Well, that's what they do
so,
when you speak truth. Oh, sorry.
What was that?
There's a little bit of a lag. Sorry about that. Well, that's what they do when you speak truth that they don't want getting out there, right? They attack the messenger. And instead of breaking down your message, they don't address anything in your guys' article. They just, try to smear the messenger. And it's just, it was sad watching that all go down. Yeah.
That's what happened. And so NewsGuard took like this one negative article about us, and it was like this total smear of me as a person being a Muslim. I mean, it was really like an Islamophobic smear campaign about me and like my father-in-law, who studied in Iran, which is true, but it's like it was so anti, just Muslim. It was ridiculous. And so NewsGuard took this article and like used it as a source to question, our journalistic integrity, to question our funding and our ownership. And I responded, and I made it very clear that this was an Islamophobic smear campaign, and what BuzzFeed was doing, which, by the way, BuzzFeed got a green check mark by NewsGuard.
Yeah,
BuzzFeed, right. What BuzzFeed did, BuzzFeed is the one who was practicing unprofessional journalism and lacking journalistic integrity because of, like what you said, they didn't, challenge our reporting on Syria. What they did is they created a smear campaign against me, a character assassination, because that's all they know how to do in attacking a story.
Unfortunately, in the United States, that seems to be what catches the people's attention, and that's what they want to hear. They're pandering to the audience. It's a sad and disgusting trait, but not uncommon.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Absolutely, and the corporate media is like notorious for doing that, especially to independent and alternative media journalists. They don't go after the reporting that we're doing. They always create these like profiles about us to make us look like we're on the fringe and we're conspiracy theorists and we're crazy, like, or there's something wrong with us and our families, and they pull at straws. They pull at whatever they can find and try to create this profile on us to discredit us. And unfortunately, you're right, a lot of people do drink it up. They drink the Kool-Aid and they get really scared. At the time when I was smeared, I had, unfortunately, fellow journalists who said, I can't work with you because of this article from BuzzFeed. I don't want my name to get tarnished. So people, these things do affect the journalists, and they do it because they know it works, unfortunately.
Yep. For everybody watching, speaking of Project Censored, I would recommend jumping on YouTube. There was a good event, some kind of summit that you went with Abby Martin, and you guys spoke about this in particular. I watched that the other day. I thought that was really cool. And you got into depth about basically the smear campaign that went on. And yeah, it's tragic to see how that all played out. But you guys are still one of my favorite news outlets. I continuously share your content. And they're not going to be able to silence what it is you guys do, what we do, as much censorship as I've seen you guys go through. Yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about your experiences with censorship on, the multiple platforms that it's happened on. I know you've been like shadow banned and throttled and whatnot, but
absolutely. So NewsGuard, targeting us in this, news ranking questionnaire that they sent us is only the latest of a long list of experiences that we've been dealing with by the establishment to tarnish our name and to suppress us, to throttle our, reach, and in some cases with Google and Facebook and Instagram to outright censor our content. And as an independent journalism organization, it's obviously important that we get our news out there. And for the fact that we live in America, the United States of America, that has like the Constitution and our First Amendment rights and protection of freedom of speech, it's really important that, these things don't happen. But unfortunately, they do, because the government has contracted these major corporations, these social media tech giants, these Silicon Valley tech giants, to basically be the arbitrators of what Americans can see, hear, and read. You know, the government can't infringe on our civil liberties, so they've hired these tech giants to do it. So they're getting away with it. And the way they're doing it, specifically with Google, you know, in the past 2 years, I would say since the 2016 election, is really when we've seen like an uptick of all of the censorship and throttling and suppression. Specifically with Google, I'll start with talking about Google. They have been demonetizing many of our posts, many of our article posts on our website, removing ads, threatening to remove ads because the content or pictures are not appropriate, you know, for readers or for advertisers. They've done it on YouTube as well. They've demonetized many of our videos. I mean, our advertising revenue is down by over 60%. Google News changed their algorithms. And so many of our articles, when you'd search a certain topic, our articles and MintPress would appear at the very top. Now it's like you're going to find us at the bottom of the Google page, Google News search results, or maybe even on the second or third page. So they're definitely trying to make sure that we're being throttled, you know, the way that our reach is being targeted. In terms of Facebook, our reach on Facebook has declined by over 60%. And it's unfortunate because over 90% of people that use social media still get their news from Facebook feed. And so they're aware of this. And so they're targeting our reach, making sure that our posts aren't getting as much reach. I mean, we used to get so much traffic from Facebook, and now we're barely getting any traffic from Facebook, and they know this. And then in addition to this, on Instagram, we've had political cartoons removed without warning, cartoons depicting apartheid being practiced in Israel, police state issues being practiced in Israel, Saudi genocide happening in Yemen. And those kinds of cartoons have been completely removed and taken down without warning. In fact, that happened on the day of the big, you know, social media purge. Although we weren't taken down completely as a page, many of our posts were taken down. And something I want to talk about too is like all of this like rhetoric around like hate speech and being offensive to people. I mean, it's all BS, to be honest with you. We have people on the left and on the right promoting war and promoting genocide and the dehumanization of people abroad and here on our streets, and their posts are okay. I mean, we have, you know, our elected officials promoting this war agenda that's extremely offensive, that promotes the killing of people abroad. But if you bring attention to, you know, U.S. funding of apartheid in Israel, or if you bring attention to, you know, Israeli genocide in Gaza or Saudi genocide in, you know, in Yemen, or its actions in Somalia or in other countries, you get called anti-Semitic this, or you get called, you know, anti-Saudi that, or whatever it is. And it's really, really disappointing, but it just goes beyond like even the throttling and the suppression. It's like, you know, our speech is literally getting controlled, and that should really, you know, not surprise anybody. It should concern everyone.
Well, you'd think people would wake up at this point. It's always been one of our, you know, supposed greatest freedoms. Was, you know, the freedom of the press and free speech. And yet the suppression seems to be escalating at an alarming rate.
And it's like you say, they've outsourced censorship, basically. They can't do it themselves, so they got the Atlantic Council and working with Facebook, who is funded by government and a lot of other shady businesses.
That's one of the things, like, it's a much lower level because we don't have anywhere near the reach you guys do. But I know on Nevada Cop Block, on YouTube, probably 90% of the videos I have do not get approved for ads. And then I have AdSense sends me emails basically weekly saying, we didn't approve this because it's violent content. But all of that is police body cams showing them being violent toward people, and it's being presented in a news, you know, as reporting the news. So, but they're holding that against me as violent content.
It's not like you're going out trying to get people to fight and filming it and putting that online.
I'm not showing
it's
you
news,
know, cockfights. I'm showing the cops beating people. Murdering them.
So that's what they do to silence us, is they take away our revenue, you know, whether it's MintPress News and they're throttling you, trying to take away your traffic or take away your ads through Google AdSense. They're trying to pull the rug out from under you guys and us and take away the money so that you don't have the money to pay these amazing journalists and, to fund the projects that you want to fund. It's really underhanded.
Do you think this is a war that can be won? Do you think that independent media can ever come back from what's happening now?
I do. I do think that we have the power in our hands. We just need to be loud. We need to be strong, and we need to unite. Those are the major things that I believe are possible if we unite together. Unfortunately, there is a great divide in this nation that's taking place, and there is a concerted effort to keep us divided based on like right, left, whatever your political ideology is. But at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. And so I think if independent journalists unite, I think it's possible that we can become a stronger front. I mean, I just attended the United for Common Ground Summit in Houston last month. And that was the big takeaway from there, is that there are hundreds of us who are extremely passionate about free speech and our First Amendment right. We're passionate about the spread of the free flow of information. We don't have to agree on the same issues, but we agree that this information should not be controlled. And what the establishment doesn't realize is that the more they try to crush us, the more they try to silence us, the more determined we become. And so I think that's really the big takeaway from the summit this last month. And I feel more empowered than ever. We have to get on our own independent soapboxes and get out there and speak up and spread the word. We can't just hide behind, our screens either. We need to get out there and get involved. And let people know who we are. Whenever I give presentations at universities all the time, and at summits, and at within organizations and nonprofits. They invite me to speak, and it's like people, no matter what their political background are, they don't trust the media, and so. And I know that there's a Gallup poll to actually back that up. I believe it's over 75% of Americans, a Gallup poll showed over and over again, year after year, continues to show that the American public, 75% of them, do not trust the corporate media.
Yep.
And so we need to use that. We need to go to these people, to the average American, which is a lot of people. It's millions and millions of people, and get in touch with them and spread the message. So it is possible, and I think people are thirsty for more real information. So I think it's definitely very, very much possible.
Definitely. There was something else I wanted to address in the article. In your article, you had one of the questions that they asked you was about articles you had republished, right? So they're trying to say, oh, you guys didn't quote your sources and this and that, but it's like it wasn't your article. You guys republished it. So I don't know if you wanted to talk about that too, but people can always, I encourage everybody to go to MintPress News and read this article, but that was another low blow,
it's actually really funny. When NewsGuard contacted us about our website, the two articles they picked on were not even for MintPress.
Yeah.
They were not even our coverage. They were not even original articles to MintPress. They were, I believe both of them were actually, they might have been op-eds, and they were clearly labeled like op-ed or analysis. And, yeah, we do. Just like many other websites, we don't have a full-time staff to be able to like CNN or the Huffington Post that can write up like 20, 50 articles a day. We have to fill in the blanks on our website sometimes and partner up with other sites to fill in the void and republish their work. And that doesn't mean that we endorse every single thing that they say in the article. And if we do, that's great. But it just means that we have partners and we're republishing other opinions and other things from other websites.
Yeah. And
that's okay. We're not the only website that does that. I've seen all corporate media establishment websites do that as well.
It's networking.
And whenever I see articles on those websites, I never think like, oh my gosh, how could they republish this? I just think like, okay, they have a partnership with this website. And it's okay to have different ideas on a website.
Absolutely. Free.
People ask me all the time, do you agree with everything you guys publish? I'm like, no. And that's okay. We should encourage dialogue. Yeah. We should encourage differing opinions.
Absolutely.
That's like healthy. That's really, if I'm going to run an organization where everybody has to write articles and things that have to agree with me, that's not real journalism, Exactly. That's not good editorial work or policy. That's like a dictatorship. We don't have a dictatorship at MintPress.
Yeah. And then, ironically, they tried to question your funding. And I like in your response, you're like, well, you guys are very transparent about who you're funding, unlike NewsGuard, you know. You pointed that. Yeah, where's their money coming from, you know?
Well, it's so interesting because they go after these small independent media organizations who are usually funded by, you know, a tech startup lender or investor, which is like totally normal, or, you know, or they get funding from, you know, their readers and subscriptions and so forth. You know, like it's really easy to track.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have these organizations like BuzzFeed or NewsGuard or the New York Times, and they're being funded like with millions and millions of dollars every couple of months, not even like per year, but every couple of months by special interest groups, by think tanks, by, you know, sometimes even weapons manufacturers or even foreign governments. I mean, BuzzFeed gets funding from, you know, the IDF.
Yeah.
Which is the Israeli Defense Forces. The New York Times get funding from like, you know, foreign entities and so forth. And it's not uncommon. But then when we kind of put the lens on them, they freak out like, no, well, you know, we're corporate, you know, establishment and it's okay and that's normal. But they make us feel like we're on the fringe when we're getting our funding from our readers.
Yeah, and that was a very successful, your last fundraising campaign went very well. It was nice watching everybody come together to support your guys' work. I think it's so important. So if you guys haven't checked out MintPress News, definitely go to their website. And if you like their content, consider becoming a patron on Patreon. And definitely we need to get away from Facebook. Like this, our show in particular is like so reliant on Facebook. I hate it. So one of the things we talked about at the summit was, you know, a mind shifting to minds, and I think that's definitely a good step in the right direction. You know, turn Facebook into the next MySpace, and everybody just shift over to a better censorship-free platform that's more transparent, open source, decentralized. You know, all good things where you actually get paid for your content too, and in their cryptocurrency or however it works. I haven't even opened an account yet, but I'm definitely going to do that. Probably next week. But yeah, you guys are
we need
Minds,
to get on
right?
the Minds. We need to get on the Minds bandwagon and start making money for our posts. Facebook makes us pay money to see our followers now, to reach our own followers. It's pretty disturbing stuff. They
crazy.
lied to us. I mean, when you first started a Facebook account, you could gain up to 50,000, you know, whatever, 50,000 followers and be able to reach them.
Yeah.
Now you can reach like literally like 1% maybe of your own followers. And even if you paid for those followers, now you have to pay to even reach those followers. I mean, they really are trying to suck every penny out of you so that you can go out of business, and they are the ones who can financially succeed.
Yeah, it's dirty. All right, well, thank you so much for making time for us today. I know you got Project Censored interview coming up, so we'll let you go. I'm going to try to pull up that image by Carlos Latouf that was censored on Instagram that you were talking about earlier.
Okay, I can do 5 more minutes if you guys need me.
Oh,
okay,
absolutely.
cool.
I like
yeah.
that idea.
Definitely. So the other thing on the article here, where is it at? Oh, they tried to say you guys have a liberal bent, as if, you know, CNN or Fox News, they don't lean in any direction, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
They're politically neutral.
And they all got green check marks, and yeah, it's just crazy.
You know what's so interesting about this check mark business is that, like, yeah, you look at like CNN and Fox News, and they got green check marks. Even Voice of America got a green check mark.
That's right.
Voice of America is funded by the State Department. It's under the Broadcast Board of Governors organizations to literally spread propaganda.
Yeah.
Spread propaganda across the world.
Sure.
U.S., you know, America-style democracy. And that's like part of their mission. It's not like a conspiracy. That's actually what they do. Yeah. And they got a green check mark. But you know who got a red check mark? RT. It's funded by the Russian government. So we've got Voice of America funded by the American government. That's okay. And then you have RT, which is funded by the Russian government. And that was the only reason they gave for RT. getting a red check mark for being funded by the Russian government.
Yeah.
So clearly there's an agenda here
Absolutely.
to quash alternative media voices. And I'm not saying that RT is perfect. I mean, of course, yeah, they are funded by the Russian government, so we can expect that they're going to, give a Russian perspective. But it just goes to show what their agenda is in terms of the whole like green, red check mark thing.
Yeah. And then it's funny that they use the color coding system, and then the guy that created the whole terrorist threat color coding is also involved with NewsGuard. So it's like that guy's, he's got an obsession with these color codes or something. And then they also raided WikiLeaks.
Yes, I think his name was Tom Ridge.
Yeah. And then they gave WikiLeaks a red check mark. They've never had to, retract any story. Everything's been, raw, unedited. They haven't had to retract anything, but they get a red check mark. And it's because the people behind NewsGuard definitely don't want WikiLeaks information getting out there, you know what I mean?
Well, the people who responded to it, I mean, when they put it out there, they know the effect that it's going to have. People like to be fed sometimes, right, wrong, this is good, this is bad. And, we really have to fight against a lot of that and make people start thinking for themselves, evaluating the stories. You look at the sources. But, a lot of times people just won't go there. They won't spend the extra few minutes to vet what they're reading. They take it at face value, and it's, and this is why I think this is kind of successful is what they're doing. And that's a big problem, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be integrated. I'm sure you guys talked about this last week with Whitney, but their, NewsGuard rating system is going to be integrated. It is actually already being integrated in like all Microsoft products, and it's already been integrated in all 51 public libraries in the state of Hawaii. And it's going to spread like wildfire across the United States in all public libraries, in all public universities. And it's going to be mandatory. I mean, you're not going to be able to avoid this at all. And what they're trying to do is obviously control the free flow of information. And what's really disappointing about this is they're not just going to rate you and then you get to decide. They're going to rate you, and then eventually they're going to make it like a mandatory thing where it's like, this is, they really give you a grave warning at first, like danger, this website is like fake news or whatever. And then I think eventually what they're going to do is they're going to integrate it in a way where those ratings are already there, and you can't pick and choose what you want to see.
Yeah, right.
So that's what's really scary. And I just read this morning that NewsGuard is working up deals with the EU to get this integrated the same way across the European Union, across all European states. It's really Orwellian shit. Like it's pretty scary stuff.
Definitely.
And global. I mean, not just here. It is scary.
I could see it happening over there first, definitely, and then coming over here. Like they already made like memes illegal by trying to use copyrights. If you use an image from a movie to make a meme, you know what I mean, then you're stealing that image from a movie. So yeah, I could definitely see it passing over there in the EU, and then them copying that model and
they're softening us up. It's kind of like the lobster in the boiling water. Slowly they turn up the heat, and we accept, and more people accept it. And when they start full-on censorship, if you have a red rating, you will not have access. People won't be outraged. It'll just be, business as usual. And, I can't think of anything more horrific. It is Orwellian. I mean, all the way through.
Have you guys received a rating yet from NewsGuard? I know it was like pending when we had Whitney on. Have you heard anything back from them, or?
Our rating is pending, and we're, I actually downloaded the NewsGuard app and the browser. I had to plug in just to test it out to see what the hell they're doing. And every time I go on Fox's website, it's like, this website is great. It just gives me like, I just start laughing like, this is so ridiculous. But no, our website is still pending. So, and we broke the story on NewsGuard, so they might give us a red rating just, to make us feel bad. Who knows?
They'll give you like deep red.
Yeah, you're gonna get your own color for sure.
They're flashing.
Well, yeah, we're like not even on the scale. We're like purple, just like off the scale.
It's crazy that they make it like a red exclamation point too, because it makes it look like almost like a virus detection. Like, don't go to this website. You know, it's harmful. It could, destroy your computer or something. And it's, that's why that study, which was funded by NewsGuard, they said that, I don't know, the majority of people, when they see the red exclamation point next to it, they don't go to those sites, and that's their way of controlling the flow of information. Yep. It's crazy.
I have to get going, guys, but I want to thank you so much for inviting me on the show. I really had a good time, and hopefully next time I'll be on for the whole show.
That would be fantastic.
For sure.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Mnar. Thank you for coming on, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do over there on Project Censored. Have a good day.
Thank you, guys. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, that was Mnar with MintPress News, founder and editor. Definitely in my top 3. I mean, them and the Free Thought Project, the Anti-Media, Nevada Cop Block. Just, great.
Just saying.
Great resources.
Right.
It's real watchdog journalism. You know what I mean? It's something that's a dying breed nowadays, for sure.
It is true, though. Like, when they take your rights, they don't come in, they don't come and storm your house the first day, Like, if they go into your bank account and they take $1,000 out, you'll notice. But if they go in your pockets while you're sleeping and take a quarter out, you ain't going to notice. But that quarter's still gone, and that shit adds up.
Yeah.
It does, slow and steady. I mean, we might be back in our basements again, with printing presses and, running out papers and flyers and small magazines in order to get the information out at this point. Electronic media might not be where it's at for us. They might come down on us so hard. I can see them raiding, the government coming in and raiding studios for speaking the truth. Mm-hmm. Or, especially if it contradicts the government line.
That's the direction it's going in, I think, for sure. You can see it, That's where
every
it's heading.
dystopian, movie I've ever seen, is happening. You watch these movies as a kid and you think, oh my God, this is crazy. This, the stormtroopers coming in. But who knows? One day we'll be on air and front door man will break in and here they come, dragging us away.
I wish we had that video queued up, but, there's a video that a guy took in downtown Las Vegas where the cops are rousting the homeless. And when you watch the video, and the cops are just, like, riding through the neighborhood in their little fancy SUVs, and they're on the loudspeakers yelling, we've got services for you, and if you don't take these services, you're subject to arrest.
Yeah.
And that's a fucking scene out of They Live. Literally, like, it looks like that when you're watching it.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull that up. That was just surreal. I couldn't believe it because
listen.
We're in that area all the time, doing outreach and stuff. And
I've heard stories of them doing this even in the parks that we serve in, going up with the social service organizations and the pigs telling the people that they're trying to give services to, you accept, or there's consequences,
Which is illegal, by the way. They can't tell you can't.
It's still illegal.
If you're not breaking a law,
here we go.
They can't tell you we're going to arrest you.
Watch this, guys.
All right, hold on. Let me pull this up for you guys here.
Yeah, listen closely. I mean,
you watch those science fiction movies like They Live, which is looking like that's a fucking predictor of the future rather than a fictional movie.
This is in downtown Las Vegas. Those are the city marshals there.
Freaking rain. Fucking crazy. All these homeless people out here.
You really videotaping this little?
Dumping people's stuff. Just taking all their properties. What they're doing with the homeless people.
Failure to take that assistance or anything that we're trying
go.
Yeah.
This gentleman didn't
Which is
plan
an
on
illegal
catching
order.
this.
They can't say you're not allowed to be on a public sidewalk or we're going to arrest you.
Man, that's
And
just
this guy was
crazy.
just driving along randomly. This wasn't.
I wish.
He caught it. I don't even think he realized what he caught on the video when he caught that statement. But that statement is so important.
Yeah. And you know, I wish we had They Live queued up, because there's a scene in there where they come in and break up the area where all the people are living. And, I mean, that's the scene. It's basically the same shit. It's a couple different words, but that's...
And listen, I know
like,
this.
when I watched that's the first thing I thought about.
You guys are out there, well, I'm not living on the street. That doesn't apply to me.
Not yet.
That's right. If they get away with it in this scenario, trust me, they'll be coming to your door next. That's the way censorship works. That's the way fascism, when it comes in, takes hold.
Yep.
Yeah, we all know the story. First they came, for the communist. I wasn't a communist,
So I didn't speak up. Yeah.
So you're watching it here.
That's it, man.
This is what's going to happen if we don't stand together.
Yeah, they're taking
and
them
speak
quarters
up.
out of your pocket now, but they'll be going for the dollars in your wallet next.
Yeah.
It only accelerates. When they take the freedoms, they take them.
So we're going to transition to, well, I guess that was a local story too. So here's another local story. This guy here,
They say he kidnapped and sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl who was on her way to school.
Detectives told us the crime was so brazen they were looking into whether he had done something like it before. Today, police confirmed Perkins is linked to another sex assault.
And here is a picture of Perkins and a sketch Metro released last year. This sketch came out after an 11-year-old girl was sexually assaulted at gunpoint near Twain and Palos Verdes. Police tell us Perkins is a suspect in that case, too.
Fox 5's Abby Tetros went to the area where it happened.
We'll take a look at the damage left behind after that standoff. You can see where police breached the garage door. Neighbors told me they're even more disturbed to learn Perkins is linked to another sexual assault case.
Now everybody's like, we don't know what you do, or you don't, it just feels weird.
Lisha Boudreau told me that there's a level of distrust in her neighborhood near Simmons and Lone Mountain.
It's just very uncomfortable feeling, knowing that directly next door there was a predator.
The house next door is boarded up now, but on Friday it was the site of an hours-long standoff. Officers were looking for and eventually arrested Antoine Perkins. They say he kidnapped and sexually assaulted a 12-year-old girl a day earlier. She was walking to school when police say Perkins attacked.
Most predators don't start with a crime like this, so we'll be obviously looking to see if there's additional crimes, charges we can tie this person to.
Monday, Metro Police tied Perkins to a sexual assault case from last year. May 2018, police gave us this sketch and told us the man in the picture approached an 11-year-old girl near Twain and Swenson. He lured the victim back into his black four-door BMW, then held her at gunpoint, sexually assaulted her, then left her naked in an alleyway. No one answered when I went to Perkins' North Las Vegas address, but neighbors told me they've seen him around. They've also seen a woman and children inside the home.
Even linked to one is disgusting, let alone maybe more.
Perkins worked for the Nevada Department of Corrections from April.
That's what I wanted to point out. He worked for the Nevada Department of Corrections. This guy was, I don't know if he was a prison guard, but he worked for, the prison. Pretty crazy. I mean, they really can't be picky when they're hiring these people, you know what I mean?
And predators look for jobs where it gives them opportunity to go after people.
Right,
Yeah.
it gives them a sense of power, so it's the power dynamic for sure.
Yeah.
So
It'd be
another
interesting
law
to see why he's
enforcement
not working
officer
there anymore.
or doing what law enforcement do.
Yeah.
But that's the problem when they let these cops off and they give them these, sweetheart fucking plea deals where they don't actually get punished. Then they're out there and they're on the streets going after people.
Yeah, and then it starts to attract people to the profession, you know what I mean? When predators see that if I wear a badge, I can get away with this shit, then it starts drawing predators to the profession.
We all know that badges shouldn't grant extra rights.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, as you watch them go on trial for all sorts of misconduct, including out-and-out cold-blooded murder, It does seem that the badge does give them extra rights.
Yeah.
They're not held accountable the same as anyone else would be.
Yeah, they've got
They're
their own
pass.
their own legal system. I don't even want to call it a justice system, but they've got their own set of laws.
System.
Yeah.
Sure.
So speaking of, prison guards doing dirty shit, I'm sure everybody heard about this one this week. Former corrections officer senselessly murders 5 people after walking into the bank. This is the bank shooter in Florida. He was a prison guard too. So yeah, this is 1 week, week's worth of news. Look at all this shit we got here. This is our weekly
one of the
lineup.
things, a lot of the prison guards are people that tried to be a cop and didn't succeed. Like that's their fallback, or they're working as a prison guard until they can convince them to hire them as a cop. So they're like the worst of the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is just a few other stories that we pulled that got a lot of media attention over just this past week. The first guy, that's Captain Eric Lyle. He's with Pea Ridge Police Department in Arkansas. He was sending inappropriate texts about a juvenile. I don't know if he was at a football game or a basketball game or something, but there was like cheerleader that I don't even think she was a teenager yet, but he sent a text to another cop saying, I couldn't stop looking at her ass or some just obnoxious, inappropriate shit like that. So that's Captain Eric Lyle, the first guy.
Yeah.
And then...
Officer Inappropriately Friendly.
Yeah. The second guy, he's out of Tucson, Arizona. A lot of stuff coming out of Arizona. I don't know what's going on out there.
Arizona's crazy.
This is Richard Daniel. Basically, look, honey, I'll let you go. I won't arrest you for the warrant if you give me a blowjob. She tried to get out of it and didn't want to go to jail. She was scared and everything, but she tried to say, like, no, we can't have sex because I'm pregnant. She lied, told him she was pregnant, and then said, all right, well, my husband we used to be swingers, so why don't we go and just make sure that my husband's okay with it? So they go to the apartment, and the husband's like, yeah, whatever, fucking, he goes to the 7-Eleven that called the cops in the first place, probably to be like, why are you calling the cops on my wife for some dumb shit when you know she's got a warrant? But, so out of fear, she ends up doing it, and this dude, I guess the husband ended up, calling the cops, filing a report or whatever, but yeah, so he went down for that. I don't know what the exact charge is for, oppression under the color, oppression under the badge or whatever they call it, but another dirtbag. Number 3 is Robert Collins, raped 4 females over a 16-month period. This is in Pennsylvania, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Wilkes-Barre, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then we've got number 4, Stephen Albee. So we're going global now. This is Sydney, Australia. 29-year-old senior constable. A woman was arrested for refusing to cooperate with the roadside drug test. So she was arrested, and he stole her phone and, the images off of her phone, and sent these intimate photos she had on her phone into a Facebook chat with a bunch of his other cop buddies. So going through her phone, found some nude photos, intimate photos, and...
You got to really lock your phone. I don't know if the laws apply in Australia as they do here, but they have to get a warrant in order to open your phone if you have it locked. So you have to password protect, or even now thumbprint protect that information.
And a quick tip, you can, I don't know about Samsung phones, but on an iPhone, if there's a setting you can enable where if you hit the side button 5 times, then it locks it to where you have to put in the passcode. Because there's been cases where they've 3D printed fingerprints so that they could unlock your phone, because they take your fingerprints when they book you. They'll 3D print your fingerprints and open your phone that way. Or there was a guy they killed, and they went to his dead body and used his fingerprint.
Well, that's what I actually do on my phone. It's a Samsung, and I have mine set for a dead guy's finger, and I just carry that finger around with me. So, like, if the cops are fucking with me, I'll just throw it in a ditch or something, and deal with that later.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, they did that on Orange is the New Black. Open up the phone. They cut off his finger tip so they could unlock his phone. It was horrifying and hilarious at the same time.
All right, so the other guy, number 5, this is Andrew Delkey out of Nashville, Tennessee. He's the one that shot 25-year-old Daniel Hambrick in the back. So he's been well, I don't know if he's been charged, but I guess he's been indicted. And we all know how the grand jury works, so he'll definitely get away with it. But here's the clip, just so everybody can see. There's no audio on it. So if you're listening on Libsyn or iTunes or whatever, I mean, basically it's just him hauling ass, cops chasing him, and you know, he's not a threat to anybody. He's trying to get away. And at this point, this is where the officer shot, I believe, 3 times. Shot him in the back.
Because they're hiring so many cops that the physical standards are so low right now that they just don't want to run, so they'll shoot you.
Yeah.
And they know they can get away with it and get paid vacation. So there's really no downside for the police officer not to shoot people in the back.
There he is.
So you used to watch all those movies where they'd run like
Killed
12
him.
blocks chasing a guy up fucking walls and around corners and all that shit. They don't do that shit. They just shoot you.
That used to be, quite a horrible insult to claim that, you would shoot somebody in the back.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that they're supposed to emulate and practice. It meant you were a coward, and I still feel that way. You have to shoot someone in the back. You're quite the coward.
The last one, number 6, he's a real piece of shit. Patrick Lynch.
Yeah, he is.
New York PD police union boss. So he's the one that, oh, my guys never do any wrong. He's the one that's got to defend the worst of the worst. And there was a sentencing for Justin Merle, who is a minor. Had some run-ins with the law. I guess he had stolen a car, and the cop jumped on the hood or something trying to stop him, and the kid didn't stop. Cop rolled off and got hurt real bad, so he got a lighter sentence than Patrick Lynch wanted. So he got pissed off and did a press conference and referred to Justin Merle as a mutt. This is a young, I think he was 14 when it happened. Now he's getting sentenced. He's 15-year-old black boy, and this guy's calling him a fucking mutt.
There's nothing unusual about the NYPD being racist. They have a long history of being racists and bigots. I grew up in New York. I'm telling you, if you hear their mouths on the street, this was way before there was cell phones to capture it. It was standard practice, and I still believe it's standard practice. But maybe when they see a phone now, maybe they curb their speech. But nothing unusual there.
Well, not to mention Patrick Lynch's son is a mutt anyway, because he was busted, I think it was 2 years ago. Some kind of firearm shit. I think there was alcohol involved, but he was a cop and ended up getting fired because he got busted for some bullshit.
Yeah.
So that story's on Nevada Cop Block, so just look up Pat Lynch's son.
Another thing on Nevada Cop Block, well, actually, you can go to ACABradio.com now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Kelly, the computer master over here, got us the domain acabradio.com. So visit that, and it'll redirect you to the Nevada Cop Block site, where we have a few of the shows up there now, but we will be updating it so that everything will be on there.
We're making it easier for you to find us.
We're here for you.
But yeah, that'll take you directly to ACAB broadcasts or things related to ACAB Radio.
Yeah.
And at some point soon, once we get caught up on posting the actual full videos, we're going to start splitting up into segments so people don't have to watch a full hour. They can just watch the 10-minute story.
Yeah, because it's a long show, and we cover a lot. So we're going to try to chop it up into bite-sized pieces for everybody.
So it's all in the works.
Get your police news on the go.
Probably 2 weeks from now, you'll just be able to fucking hit that
And
bada bing, bada boom. Yeah.
And I've been looking at technology where we just we're able to broadcast it straight into your brain without having to use any equipment whatsoever. But that may be a month or two down the line.
And when we get those implants in your wrist, then you'll
Right.
be able to fucking just put your hand on your head and watch whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
That's coming.
It's coming.
Google can't do shit about it. Neither can Zuckerberg.
This was another story over from the freethoughtproject.com. Heartbreaking video shows cop shoot 14-year-old boy running away. So he had a gun, a toy gun. So he definitely deserved to be killed, gunned down in the streets.
The pigs are murdering our children. When are you going to get angry, folks?
Yeah,
How long is it going to
seriously.
take? How many more children have to die by the hands of these pigs before there's some sort of response to let them know this is not acceptable?
Yeah.
Killing our children is not acceptable in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's time to start speaking out, get
Honestly,
organized.
like, the neighborhood I was growing up in, if they'd have shot 14-year-olds running around with toy guns, they would have killed everyone in my neighborhood.
Same here.
All right.
We did nothing but play.
So I think the original call was on like a suspicious vehicle or something. So the kid's in this vehicle. I mean, I don't know if he's like, I don't think the vehicle was stolen, but I think he was, saw it in the alleyway and, was taking stuff out of the vehicle. So even if he stole some things, that's not a death sentence, right?
Exactly. And the police aren't, judge and jury.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they are the executioner.
Look, he doesn't even identify himself. He just already got his gun out. Hey, bang, bang.
Let me see your hands!
Look how far he is. So far away, dude. It's just
998, shot fired, shot fired. One
So that's the
second,
thing,
running.
even if
Stop,
you assume he has a
stop,
real
alley.
gun, he's running away and he's way the fuck away. He's not a threat to that guy.
It's not a threat to anybody, dude.
There's no excuse for this type of behavior. And
He's
yet
got a
it
handgun. He's got a handgun.
every time it happens again and again and again.
Yeah.
The children are dying in the streets at the hands of these pigs. You have to let them know that this isn't acceptable. You have voices. It's time to raise your voice.
Absolutely.
Raise your voice. Let them know.
Yeah, we got to hold these people accountable. I've been trying to do that out here. I tried to go to the press conference for the first officer-involved shooting of the year. Metro holds a press conference for every officer-involved shooting, usually within 72 hours. So this one hadn't been held within the normal 72 hours. So yesterday was like the fourth day, so I knew they were going to do it that day. So I went there in the morning because I'd been calling, couldn't get through to anybody. And I went down there when they opened up, and I'm like, look, I want to start attending these things. I'm with Nevada Cop Block. I'm one of the hosts of ACAB Radio. I want to start reporting on these. And the ladies at the front were completely clueless. They didn't know even where it's at. I'm like, so is this even where they do the press conferences? And she's like, sometimes. Like, I couldn't get a straight answer out of
That's
anyone.
the thing. They weren't clueless. They knew exactly, but they were playing stupid.
So then, after making me wait like 20 minutes, so I essentially did like a First Amendment audit of the whole place. I just walked around and filmed the whole thing. And I'm going to post a clip of one of the things. Like, they have all this memorabilia in there. One of the things was like a Pig Power shirt that cops used to wear. Nice. And it's got a pig on it, and it says Pig Power. And they had some kind of like little excerpt talking about how the cops took the term from the hippies and turned it into a thing of pride, It's hilarious. I wish cops still wore the Pig Power shirt.
Yeah. Meanwhile, if you were wearing that
piece
shirt,
of shit.
You see how proud they're that.
Yeah, they don't find that amusing.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I made the Cop Block. It was originally Cop Block, but we kind of just say independent media now because Nevada Cop Block's really the only Cop Block standing at this point. But the thing about it is the reason I made press passes originally and tried to make it so somebody who's working independent media or even just going out on their own and doing like audits and stuff would have access to a legitimate looking press pass is to do that, to go to like press conferences and that sort of thing, and even crime scenes. They're not going to let you too far into the crime scene, but and actually act as media and get independent voices in there.
So I even sent them a picture of the press pass, dude. I'm like, I want to get get on the email list, or however you're letting these people know I want to be there. And like I sent my credentials and everything, and a link to my articles and stuff, and they lied to me over email. They were like, yeah, we'll post something on our website. They never posted anything on their website. In person, I said, so is the press conference going to be today? She told me, no, it's not going to be today. And then they had the press conference that evening after I'd left. And then, so they lied in person and email. Then on the phone, they gave me a phone number. I called the phone number, finally got through to somebody. And she's like, yeah, just follow social media. We'll announce a few hours before the press conference on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. First of all, I couldn't even find an Instagram account, but the other two accounts, I mean, there's a million different LVMPD Twitters, but not a single word about the press conference on any one, and not until after the press conference. Then they posted the video from YouTube on there. So they lied in every form that they could. So then I called them after I saw that the press conference had taken place. They were still open, and she answered, and I'm like, so, yeah, I'm the guy you talked to earlier, so you basically lied to me. And she goes, oh, hold on, I got another call, and just puts me on hold. I wait like 5 minutes, nothing. She just hung up on me without hanging up on me. Like, so they do these press conferences. They claim to be so transparent, right? Look, we show the body cams, we talk to the press within 72 hours, but it's all done behind closed doors with hand-picked, hand-selected, loyal media outlets that just parrot what they want them to say. They've proven them to be loyal, so that's how Metro controls the flow of information. They don't have any real reporters in there asking tough questions. It's just, it's all a farce. It's all a facade that they put on of trying to claim to be transparent when it's just fucking bullshit.
Yeah, and that's one of the things is, I did research on press passes and when I was making them and press access and what the government is allowed to restrict. And basically they have to go by the same standard that they apply to everyone else. So they
that
can't.
Was ruled, that's right.
Right, there's legal precedents that say, they can't say we don't like your editorial directions,
so you can't come in.
Or we don't like that article you wrote last week, so we can't let you come in. If you're, if you're within the standards of what they accept as press, then you can go in there. So, unless they want to start restricting other members of the press, because there are some of the legal precedents are like they can't restrict people based on the fact that they're only internet related,
right?
They're a blog, that sort of thing. But what Metro does, and I don't doubt that other police departments do the same thing, is they don't. It isn't like you show up and they say you can't come in, because you can fight that.
They just don't
make
tell
sure
you
you
when
don't
it
get that
is.
information, so you don't have the opportunity
right, they
to show
restrict
up.
access to information, so
yeah. So it's sad that I'm gonna have to find a workaround, like by either contacting journalists that do make it in there, from the RJ. Like I'm just gonna look up who writes on these press conferences from Fox or whatever, and reach out to them and be like, hey, are you going to the press conference today, and what time are you gonna air? Try to get the information, from a third party. It's just fucking sad that that's how the state of the media in Vegas, it's just no freedom of press. Really, you shouldn't even have to be a member of the press. It should be open to the public. It's a public building. Your taxpayer dollars pay these people to answer questions. They pay for the building. It's open to the public. It's during business hours, so anybody should be able to walk in there. I mean, let alone somebody from the press, that they just keep us all out. It's unbelievable.
I mean, Vegas has always been that way. The press has always protected the casinos from any bad publicity. It just follows suit that, they would also cover up any other sort of information that could look bad. They have a history and are well practiced in this deception.
So we're running short on time. Definitely stay tuned next week, because tomorrow is Coffee with the Cops.
We're having pastry with the pigs, folks.
Yeah, pastry with the pigs.
Can we bring our pigs with us?
We're gonna bring that. Yeah.
Yes,
we can have them sign them. They're so proud of their pig.
If they don't want to interview with us, we'll interview these two pigs here.
Yeah, pigs here or there.
So that's going to be tomorrow. We'll try to get some footage, some audio for you guys to play next week.
And we'll
It's with
critique the
North Las
coffee.
Vegas. What was that?
I said we could critique the coffee also.
If they
This
even
is-
have it. Yeah.
No, this is Starbucks, and Starbucks traditionally does provide coffee for us
Okay,
free
cool.
of charge. Pastries and stuff, no, not so much.
I remember last time they didn't even have free coffee. We had to buy the coffee. It's like coffee with the
well,
cost.
that's true. This is going to be North Las Vegas. Maybe they tightened up.
Yeah, who knows? But it's North Las Vegas, and it's very timely that we're going to be going because North Las Vegas just killed somebody. So, yeah, we're definitely going to ask them the hard questions about that incident. And stay tuned next week. Do we have any other events going on, guys? I know Pet Food Not Bombs, right?
Yeah, we're doing really well. We have an event coming up. We have a fundraiser the 17th of next month, if that's a Sunday. And as soon as it's posted by our host, we'll get that information out to you. But we're going to be having a raffle, and boy, people have been so generous with their donations to Pet Food Not Bombs for the raffle to help us raise money to secure dog food, cat food, any sort of pet food, as well as clothing, leashes, and we do on-site medical care to the best of our ability, as well as like nail trimmings for the folks out there. So we'll keep you updated on that.
And that's not just for dogs. They'll trim your nails if you go down there.
We would. I mean, we used to have a massage therapist that came down with Food Not Bombs, because we do it in conjunction with Food Not Bombs. And, yeah, we're out there serving our community.
And go to their Facebook page, give them a like, Pet Food Not Bombs. And they have a link where you can donate on there as well. You know, whether it's leashes or clothes for these pets to keep them warm, you know, at night. And
There's some really nice pictures on there, too.
yeah, there's a nice little character on there, Turd Nugget. That was pretty cool. So yeah, definitely check it out. They're doing great work, and if you want to get involved, reach out to them. They've definitely been very supportive of the show. So yeah, definitely want to give them a shout out.
Yeah, we talk about unity, and that's through all different groups of our community, as well as our affiliates in the independent media. It's the only way we're going to win, folks. We have to stand together. You know, united we stand, divided we fall. And there are agents out there trying to put their foot on us.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking about that, when we try to share the show, they always ban us from sharing. So
Right.
if you like the show and you want to support it, that's one way you can do it, is by sharing it to different groups or pages that you like.
Yeah, because
spread the word.
I'm a part of like a bunch of police accountability groups, and like it triggers their algorithms when I share it into all these groups, and it blocks me from being able to do it. So help us out, share it out.
Right. And when you share, ask those people to share it too to their groups.
Yeah, tag people in it or like it. Any kind of interaction helps us break through those algorithms. One more event,
and
local event, Protest Turnkey Property Solutions, Satakoy Bay LLC. One of our comrades, Lorelei, she had a bad experience with this company. It was on the news and everything. But this Friday, February 1st, 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., 3650 East Russell Road. Definitely support them. Come out and protest in front of their property. They're a horrible property management company that rents out uninhabitable homes and preys on vulnerable families in our community.
Right on.
Yep. All right. We didn't even get into all the other stories that we had. Let me
Listen,
see.
there's way too many stories. And this is what's like, holy cow. I mean, every day you go on, you see story after story after story.
This officer won't be prosecuted on a DUI and weapons charges.
Yeah, and Derek Colling is officially going back on the streets in Laramie, Wyoming, where he's killed his third person as a cop.
Yep.
Albany, I think Corporal who killed a man will return to work.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
That's the guy.
Corporal
We've talked
Derek
about him on
Colling.
the air before.
Former LVMPD officer.
Yep.
Who was fired for using excessive force on video and killed 2 people prior to that.
Before killing his third. And I guess he's getting ready to kill his fourth and maybe
lucky
more.
number 4.
cops killed somebody out in Mercury, Nevada. I guess he got onto the Nevada National Security Site. So
Yeah,
there's
it'll be
more to
interesting
that
to see what's
story.
going on with that, because he
Yeah.
had something cylindrical in his hand, which might have been a lightsaber, but
Yeah.
He stole something from the Nevada National Security Site. Who knows?
Yep.
This was crazy. 5 deputies, 15 inmates indicted in rape and beating. Basically, the guards let these inmates beat him. They watched and then watched him as they raped him. Pretty crazy. This guy, cop who shot himself in the head, died. No tears lost there.
Oh, did we do the? We didn't even talk about the Russian roulette, right? Was that the Russian roulette?
Oh, yeah. Check this out.
This is a pretty interesting story, and like I said, I'm not opposed to police officers playing Russian roulette with each other. It goes along with our story last week where they like shooting each other. More power to you, man. I support you 100%, and I think you should make it your national sport.
Yeah, film it, and get sponsors and everything. I'll sponsor it.
Yep.
Fatal game of Russian roulette leaves one St. Louis officer dead, another charged with involuntary manslaughter. So the guy on the left shot and killed this woman here.
Another pig.
Yeah, so it was a revolver. She went to his house. I don't know. I think one of them was on duty or.
there was actually 2 cops on duty, because there's a third cop who they claim, told him you should quit playing with guns and walked out of the room while they were doing that, but she was off duty, so.
And put one, how Russian roulette goes, put one in the chamber, spun it. Who did it first? He pointed it at her first?
He was the first one.
Right.
And and it didn't go off, and then she pointed it at him, and it didn't go off, and then he pointed it at her. Like, you're supposed to spin it after each time, dude. Like, I don't even think they fucking spun it.
Yeah.
No, this story stinks.
Well, that's the one thing, is you have to
Yeah,
accept
it does,
that's
it
the true
does.
story, and they didn't have some kind of fight or something.
Yeah, who
He
knows?
just shot her, and they came up with that.
You never
Because
fucking know.
that's unbelievable. But still, pig on pig crime.
Yeah.
They're killing each other. Oh well.
This was a brutal
Blue lives
video.
don't matter. Blue lives don't matter.
Maybe we'll save that for next week, that video. This was crazy. Another one out of Arizona. Audit finds 50 missing guns from the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah, Maricopa
and then,
County.
Yeah, that's it, man.
wow.
If you want a gun and you're in fucking Maricopa County, just fucking go down there and hand them out.
They have quite a history.
And then I guess
They
they've
can't
got
even
like
track
this.
who the guys were that they handed guns out to.
They have like their own like armed militia. Like the police have like armed volunteers, and they're not certified. Like they found out that they haven't been doing background checks on these people or fingerprints or anything, and they're letting them roll around with guns and play
There we go.
play
That's it,
police
man.
officer.
You
That was
know,
a
cheap
crazy
gun,
story.
go right on down there.
Yeah. Oh, so this officer with a history of crashes gets appointed to the crash review board.
Who knows better?
Well, if you go by the logic of the LVPPA, which is the Las Vegas Police Protection Association, I think. Don't quote me on that exact wording, but that's the police union in Las Vegas. She's got a lot of experience in car crashes. That's why they hired Brian Yant to advise cops that had
'Cause he shot a lot of
shooting,
people.
because
Yeah.
he has experience in shooting.
It's just crazy.
He's killed 3 people, including Trayvon Cole, who was the unarmed person that he shot in the bathroom with the,
Yeah.
for no reason whatsoever, basically.
They just continue to reward bad behavior. You
Of
know what I
course,
mean? So
that's
they
the-
get in car accidents. Okay, well, you're going to get promoted to deal with car accidents. Oh, you shoot a lot of people. Okay, you're going to get promoted to deal with.
They train you, and in Henderson, they train you to kick people in the head. That was the excuse not to prosecute the guy that's kicked a guy who was in diabetic shock.
Right.
It's
Did
unbelievable.
we show that video last week?
I'm not sure, but
Yeah, we did show one, but there's been so many of those cases that was
But that's
probably
it.
another one.
Speaking of coffee with the cop, we've got a video where we talked to the head of the LVPPA.
I remember.
I forget his fucking name right
David
now.
Roger.
No,
Is that
that's,
guy?
No.
that's the guy who was the district attorney in Las Vegas
Mhm.
and quit to go represent the police union.
Police union, yeah.
It's fucking
I can't remember.
Steve something. Gramis, I think. Actually, I think that's his name. But whatever his name is, he literally said that. Well, he's got a lot of experience with shootings.
Crazy.
We should throw that.
asked him
Do we
about Brian
still have
Yap.
that video? Do we still have that somewhere?
I have it on YouTube.
Oh, there we go.
In fact, I linked to it on one of the stories on Nevada Cop Block that just came out about, one of the early ACAB posts.
Oh, right.
Radio
I saw
posts.
that.
So if you go on Nevada Cop Block, there's links to it.
Yeah, if you're interested, look at So there was a second officer involved shooting. Hopefully tomorrow's going to be 3 days, so they might do the press conference tomorrow. So after Coffee with the Cops, I'm thinking about heading down there. Since I took the day off anyways, might as well head down there, see if I can sneak up into their press conference. I'm just going to fucking camp out, dude, until
let's hang out in the parking
I
lot.
see media arrive and then go in there. Fuck it.
We'll bring you coffee from Coffee with the Cops.
Sweet. Sweet.
We're bringing these guys.
It's a team effort. This was brutal. This was a guy they just let out of jail. He's got no shirt or anything, and they just it's freezing outside, and they just left him there, dude. I don't know. That was brutal.
That's why we call
I'm
them
not gonna
pigs.
play it. It's just I don't even want to see it. It's just so fucked up. Yeah, just too many stories in 1 week to cover, basically. So yeah, we'll let you guys go there. Tune in next week. We got some good stuff for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Share this out. Help support.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of video of cops awkwardly refusing to speak to us, like Coffee with the Cop.
Yeah. Or maybe they'll just leave.
Hey, maybe they'll rush out into the fucking parking lot and drive away.
Yeah.
Like they did that one time.
That was funny. That was our first Coffee with Cop Block, since they left all their supplies behind and left us as the official spokespeople.
All right, folks. Have a good day.
Hey, bye, guys.